Welcome to Annette's Duets. Tonight's featured artist is multi-talented artist, musician, producer, you name it, this kid's got it. And his name is Brandon Soriano.
Hello.
Welcome, Brandon. Thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
When I was thinking about making this show, I made it around people that I wanted to play music with, and you were 100% one of those people.
Oh,
so
thank
I'm
you.
thrilled that you're here today.
Yeah, well, it's always fun playing with you. So
for sure.
Excited to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Before I start asking you questions, I want to sing a song with you. And today we brought one that you wrote called Astronaut. I think that's the working title.
Astronaut. There's a working title. It's
okay.
new.
Can you tell me just quickly about the song?
Yeah, definitely. So this song, I was kind of challenging myself to write something. As a guitarist, I've sort of fallen into a trap of playing other people's music. So I was recently challenging myself, I really want to get writing again. Hopefully I want to release some of my own music. And I was at a bit of a writer's block, wasn't sure what to write about. And on the wall of my studio room, I have this giant blanket that's right behind my desk.
Okay.
Just hangs on the wall, kind of deadens the sound in the room. But it's a picture of an astronaut who's up in space, and like his cord has been cut and he's just kind of floating, and there's flowers coming out of the astronaut. As I was thinking, like, what should I write a song about, I looked up and said, well, I guess I could write about that guy. And so I did.
And so here we go.
so that's where sort of the idea for the song came about. Astronaut, spaceman. Haven't quite settled on what to call it yet, but that's where the story came from.
Well, we'll call it an exclusive, and you'll hear it here for
Duets
the very
exclusive.
first time.
Yes.
Astronaut or spaceman. We'll see.
Or something else. Who knows?
Here it is.
Yeah. Spaceman, you're falling apart. They've cut your cord, you're floating. Scraping your knees on the stars. You've lost your way for certain. And they say it gets better, they say it gets better, they say it gets better. But you're starting to fade. You've changed. Your head is turned to flowers. It's only just the dawn of the age. And you fly kind of close to the sun. Spaceman, alone in the dark, you're dancing with desertion. Out there is the hint of a spark, impressing dark, you're searching. And they say it gets better, they say it gets better, they say it gets better. But you're starting to fade. You've changed. Your head is turned to flowers. There's roses coming out of your brain. And you're flying right next to the sun. Then you see it right before you, something like you've never seen. Full-blooded astronauts with daisy dreams. Spaceman, your home's in the stars. You found your way, you're certain.
I hope you enjoyed that version of Astronaut or Spaceman. I don't know.
Whatever.
You know, Brandon, that song, I can tell, is heavily influenced by the Foo Fighters.
What? Me?
I'm just
No.
guessing, and it just brought me right to the time I remember that you met Dave Grohl.
I did.
And I'm wondering if you can share with everybody, what is it like to meet your idol?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, so I met Dave, and he just he spoke to me for, it must have been 5 to 7 minutes, not breaking eye contact. He was really interested in what I was saying.
It's amazing.
And at the time I was in a band, and we were starting to self-record some stuff, and none of us had ever recorded. This was before I started producing. And I just asked him, we don't know what we're doing. We don't have the budget to pay anybody. What should we do? And his answer was, as long as you record it and it's great, if the songs are great, no one will care about the sonic quality. Your mic placement could be a little off and no one will care.
His favorite thing was go do it in the garage.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said go to someone's basement or someone's garage, collect whatever mics you have and stick them in front the best you know. And if you love the music you're playing, it'll translate.
Yeah.
Even if the audio quality isn't the most pristine.
The heart comes through.
Yeah, and him saying that sort of propelled me into no, I can just do whatever I want as long as I'm passionate about it. The quality doesn't matter if the passion comes through.
Right. You go, Dave Grohl.
Yeah,
what
he
a
really.
good guy.
That was a great time. It was a really kind of pivotal thing for me.
It makes me so
was
happy.
fun.
I love that. I love when that comes true. When you meet your idol and it's everything you hoped for. It just is such a great thing. And I knew it would have been that way with Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there are some horror stories out there.
I know, for sure. Brandon, you and I both started with a classical guitar background.
Right.
And you've written a song that it's not classical guitar essentially, but it's got some alternative finger picking.
Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit about that song?
Definitely, yeah.
I think you're calling it Symmetry.
Yeah, Symmetry.
Okay.
And something that I realized, so I started developing my right hand as a classical guitarist.
P-I-M-A.
Yeah, Pima. I got my Pima down.
Nobody else knows that if they don't.
Everyone's
play
probably
classical.
what are they talking
Yeah.
about? But I started practicing my right hand technique somewhere in high school is when I started getting into it. And then I went to college for classical guitar and really dove into that world. So I kind of had the idea, I'm not a shredder. I'm not the craziest electric player in the world, but I have this classical thing, and I figured I could kind of meld the two together.
That's
so
awesome.
I just started writing these pieces that were solo electric guitar, essentially just using my classical technique. And
well, with that in mind, I am doing an Annette's Duets exclusive. That's the second exclusive in one night. This is amazing.
We're breaking ground.
Yeah,
to
we're
it.
breaking ground, and I'm having a solo, the very first solo on Annette's Duets.
I'm
and
taking
this is
over.
Brandon playing Symmetry, and I really hope you enjoy it. That was Symmetry by Brandon, and Annette's Solos, the next show. Annette's Solos featuring other people. I don't know.
You
We'll
can still
see.
do the interview part, but
Maybe so.
you've been cut from your own show. I'm sorry.
So Brandon, the first time I met you, I don't know, but I actually don't remember the first time I met you. But when I really started to get to know you, you were singing a cappella.
Oh, yes, I was.
In a high school group that was outstanding. Their name's Instrumental. And then you graduated and you went and became a musical director, I think, right?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
a group called Acasola at Cal State Northridge.
Yes, I did.
And with your a cappella, you've toured around the world. You've been to China. Yes. You've won all sorts of awards with your group. And I'm just really curious how a cappella has changed or formed your artistic sensibilities. Like, what has it contributed to you?
Hugely. I love that question too, because
yeah,
I mean, yeah, thank you. Acapella was a weird curveball in my musical career, I guess. I auditioned honestly on a whim. I had never considered acapella before, or even really singing. I sang for fun, but I had never sung on stage. I was just a guitar player.
Okay.
And they were having auditions, and I decided to go for it. And as it turns out, that decision really changed how I view music and how I approach music, and that's carried on with me until now. I've thought a lot more about tone, because in a cappella music, the name of the game is changing your voice. You have to be like, here you got to be really nasal, and then suddenly you're doing this round warm thing, and then you're belting, and then you're singing really quiet, and you know, there's all these dynamics going everywhere. So anyway, just the way a cappella music is sort of crafted and the way you approach it is very different than rock, which is mostly what I'd been doing since then. So I started thinking more about, like, how can I get different tones out of the instruments I play? Even out of my guitar, how can I vary the sound of what I'm doing as if I were singing in an a cappella group? I also started thinking a lot more about harmony, and I started picturing music differently.
Yeah.
But a cappella, you really have to view the arrangement. You have to view, these people are singing pads and they're singing rhythmic parts.
Yeah.
This is
so
a harmony
true.
to the solo, and that bass line is its whole own thing. And when I started kind of zooming out and viewing the full scope of the arrangement like that, it really just changed the way I looked at music. So a cappella really kind of did that for me. I don't think I would have had that insight just sticking to guitar.
I get the chills.
Yeah.
Because just watching you through your career of a cappella, it just made my heart so happy.
Oh, it's been, I mean, a total unexpected curveball for me, but it's been amazing.
And just to watch you go all the way through college with it was just such a joy.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And that's your a cappella. I love it. And adding to your talents, okay, so we've done some classical music, we've done some
Pop,
original
acapella,
writing, okay.
rock.
You're a music educator as well.
Yes, yeah.
One of my other favorite experiences with Brandon is when I was teaching at the elementary school music class, and he came in as a student teacher, and I said, oh, here's some kids, go. And he picked right up, taught the class. They loved him.
You really, I was going to say threw me to the wolves, but they were very tiny, so you
They
threw
were
me to
tiny
the
wolves,
the
so
cubs.
it was okay. But you did a beautiful job, and you're a very gifted educator. And
I appreciate that.
I know that you've taught many ages, and I'm curious what your favorite age was for teaching music.
Ooh, okay.
Because I know you've done from the little wee ones to high school.
I have. I've done everything K through 12.
Yeah.
So after high school, I decided to go to the University of Colorado to study music education. And while I was there, I started working with a lot of orchestras. That was kind of new for me too.
That's amazing.
But I started doing a lot of middle school orchestras. I think I did 4 different 6th through 8th grade orchestras. For me, if I had to pick a favorite age group, it's probably either the really young kids or high schoolers. Really young kids, because it's just such a blast. When they're that age, I mean, kids are sponges, and they just absorb information like you wouldn't believe. And you can people underestimate kids, but you can throw a lot of info at them, and they can really, if you treat them like they can excel, they will.
Yes.
And you don't need to dumb it down all that much.
Right.
And so I love that, you know, and they do all that while being adorable kids who are funny, and, you know, it's just fun. And then I love high school, because for me, that was the age where I sort of really found my passion for music. But high school is where I really solidified, like, music is for me. And I feel like when I'm teaching students of that age, there's just kind of that opportunity. Like, that's the age where they're really coming out of their shells more and finding themselves, and music is just a really good way to facilitate that growth for them.
And you've done master classes for them often,
right?
Yeah, that's great.
I love doing stuff like that. And I mean, teaching with you was awesome. That was one of my favorite learning experiences as an educator, because you're just so natural with the kids, and they love you so much that
Thank you.
That was a blast. So.
Yeah, it was a very special time for me, for
Yeah.
sure. So, and having you there made it all the better. So, and I can vouch that the kids adored you.
Yeah.
Speaking of orchestras and choirs,
Yeah.
you are part of the Los Robles Master Chorale,
I
right?
am,
And
yeah.
you do some assistant conducting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me.
Okay, so again, another total curveball.
Yeah.
When I started with a cappella in high school, it was kind of the first time I'd ever taken singing seriously to that extent. And that led me going into college to joining choir. So that was actually the first time I had sung in a proper choir before, not just an a cappella group or a band. And then that whole world just kind of, it's its own thing, but I got absorbed into that.
I mean, I do feel like we should give the Calabasas music department a little shout out.
Oh yeah,
they
I mean they
definitely
really
influenced this kid. So,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but go on. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I mean all of the things I learned in that a cappella group at Calabasas High, I found that I got to my collegiate choir and I already knew a lot of it. So like I was kind of good at it right off the bat. It was actually my girlfriend Hannah, her sister Emily, told me, "Hey, I'm in this choir locally. You should just join it. It's really fun. There's a lot of great musicians in it. It's a good place for connections and just consistent singing." And so I said, "Yeah, definitely." And I joined. And then me being me, I felt like I don't know, I had to get really into it. I have a hard time just dipping my toe in something.
That's fair.
I kind of start it and get obsessed and get really into it. So like 2 years
that led
later,
to the conducting.
suddenly I was the assistant conductor.
You've done some YouTube work, and you were on something called All Guitar Network. What was that?
All Guitar Network is really cool. So Norman Harris from Norman's Rare Guitars decided a few years ago to start with this guy Mark, basically a guitar channel. So their thought process was, there's the golf channel.
Yeah.
Why is there not the guitar channel?
I'm just saying.
So to tap into that, they started the All Guitar Network. And I was lucky enough to actually work there for a bit as a videographer behind the camera, and I would get in front of the camera and do some demos for them. I did some videos there, and it's just really awesome.
But that led you to meet Norm.
Yeah.
And now you're the manager at Norm's Rare Guitars.
I can't honestly have imagined that would
I
have
can
happened.
only imagine with that word is that this never feels like work for you.
Yeah, it honestly doesn't.
It sounds like heaven.
I mean, it's a dream job, totally. Norm is incredible, the community is amazing, and the people I've met, I mean, my skills as a player have skyrocketed, my knowledge has gone through the roof of the instrument and of the history. There's so much history in vintage guitar work that I'm a nerd, so it's great for me. And it's really just been like a total dream job.
You might be a nerd, but to work at Norm's Rare Guitars and pull it off,
you gotta
there's something a little hip about you.
You gotta be half hip, half complete dork.
Yeah.
And I think all of us employees there kind of fit that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing, though.
Yeah.
So you touched on earlier producing.
Yes, yeah.
So I know that you are producing and you've done some work with several artists. And I'm wondering if there's a favorite part of producing. I think that you really enjoy mixing, but is there more to that? Or
it's gone in waves, actually. So when I started producing, it was just on my laptop on GarageBand. I had no gear at all. I had a USB mic. And then a few years later, I have like a studio and I'm like producing properly.
Yeah.
But throughout that time, I've had different interests within producing. I got really into mic technique for a while, miking things. I was really fascinated with the types of microphones, mic placement, how to mic different instruments. But then I started getting more into mixing, and that for me opened up a whole other world of creativeness. But there's something to it of just, I think mixing is like, it's sort of half science, half art. There's a lot of knowledge that has to go into it about sonics and about waveforms and about, how sound is traveling and perceived and stereo image and all that kind of stuff.
Super
and again,
overwhelming for the artists.
Yeah. But again, the nerd half of me was like, oh, I gotta get into that. I've gotta learn about the science of sound.
Your original music.
Yes.
Right here, right now on Annette's Duets, I am going to put your feet to the fire, Brandon, and I want to know, when can the world expect your EP?
Woo! Okay, the EP, the mystical EP.
People want to know.
If you talk to any of my closest friends, they'll all tell you that Brandon's been talking about making a stupid EP for like 3 years now. But I'm finding myself now in a time where I think I'm actually ready to get the songs down on paper, get them recorded, you know, get it all going. And you gave me a date to work with. You said,
I
Brandon.
did, because I'm pushy.
Yeah, was it June of
I think I
2021?
said June 2021. I'm here to ask,
Yeah.
is it plausible?
I think I can do that. I think
Okay.
I can, you know, we have it on the record, so now I'm stuck to it.
There
and
it
I
is.
have a deadline. I do work better with deadlines.
Okay.
So, you know,
June
I'm
of
going to
2021.
push for
I
that.
like that.
Yeah, June of 2021.
I think it's
I'm gonna
totally plausible.
try. I'm going to try my best.
This is, I mean, I love it.
I really want
Okay,
it,
so we have talked about all these different facets that you are capable of, very capable to really go with any one of them. And it's really quite impressive, my friend.
Oh,
so
thanks.
congratulations. But the one thing I want to ask you today is, what is your real dream in your heart of hearts for
Yeah.
all of those things?
At the end of the day, I think my goal for myself is to make my living doing what I love, like
Yeah.
doing music in general, whichever facet of it that is. As long as I can like live comfortably and support myself while working in the field of music, I think I'll be happy.
And I know in my heart of hearts that you are very well on your way.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully.
Everything you touch, you go wholeheartedly into it, and as you said, nerdy and artistically and all
Yeah.
of that, and that to me is a perfect match of success. And so I wish you all the best of success with
Thank
that.
you.
But since I have you here, I would love to play one more song.
Please.
And it's an original of mine that I wrote called Years, and Brandon's been kind enough to throw some electric on it, and I'm very
yes.
excited about this.
And it's a
So-
great song. I gotta say, Annette has a knack for writing a good hook. So, you got it down.
It's a good man.
Yeah.
He will be invited back. And with
Episode
that,
2.
I want to share with you Years. Years gone by, years I loved you. Years have changed what I thought I knew. My eyes awoke today by the words you say. How I felt surprised looking in your eyes. Years sail by, seasons pass on through. Feelings change, I'm wondering why. I thought I knew. Can the years reverse to what we once were like before? I guess years have changed. See the look of you. Closeness fades. History takes the blame. Years sail by. Seasons pass on through. Feelings change. I'm wondering why. I thought I knew. I thought I knew. I love it, Brandon. If we were performing that live, I would have been like after
Oh,
the
we
solo.
gotta do.
And now for Brandon Soriano. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a great song.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun
Yeah,
to play.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
I really hope you liked Years. I enjoyed writing it, and it was a thrill to play it with Brandon. And Brandon, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thank you
And
so
I hope
much.
that you'll come back
Definitely.
and sing again.
I would love
And perhaps an EP release.
Perhaps June 2021.
It'd be a great
We'll have
great
another
reason to come
episode of
back.
Annette's Duets,
It'd be
and we
great
will
fun.
do a release for the EP.
I love this.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to say thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you again on Annette's Duets.